What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on this absolutely fantastic day. Done a couple of interesting tests so far, and I got a few more planned, and hopefully this one right here is going to be another good 9mm test. So no surprise, the jelly contraption's clocked in for duty out here. We got the chrono and 2 blocks of gel. Now I've done a couple of tests already, like I say, in this first block, so this back half is pretty full, but as you can see, I got a nice clear alleyway in the front to get this one done. Nothing at all in this far block, but we shouldn't get that far. Hopefully if we do, it's just a little bit, because if we get much further than that, then that means we ain't doing something right here. As you can see, standard on all my tests lately is the heavy clothing barrier with a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt material. And what we got here, like I said, is another 9mm, and it's the Winchester Ranger T-Series in 9mm plus P, 124 grain. Now y'all know how I feel about these T-Series. These things started out being a phenomenal round when I was testing through bear gel. It was absolutely one of my favorites, but as soon as I introduced this cloth, they went downhill fast. Pretty much all the calibers and all the weights other than 40 Smith & Wesson still did really good through the cloth. I believe the 147 9mm did pretty well through the cloth, but the 127 plus P plus was an absolute failure. The 45 ACPs, not so much total failures, but very inconsistent. So honestly, this 124 plus P is pretty much T-Series last stand as far as I'm concerned. So like I said, it is the 9mm 124 grain plus P nickel plated case with the T-Series projectile. Now the velocity on the box is claiming a muzzle velocity of 1180. No kind of mention of barrel length, of course, and that's just probably done out of a 5-inch or more barrel would be my guess. 1180, I would say most of the time if we see 1180 on this, on the 124, I would feel pretty confident that we're going to get good performance. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I have lost all faith in these T-Series. So even at those speeds, if we hit those, which I don't have faith that we're going to hit, I really am not expecting the best from these. But I'm going to give them a couple different chances to do right here. As you can see, we got the G17 out here with the 4.5-inch barrel, and then I've got my EDC, the Canik Mete MC9 with a 3.1-inch barrel. But like I said, I'm hoping these things do well. I really want one of these 9mm T-Series to do well, but they've just been disappointing me time and time again. So maybe these will pull something out of the hat for us. Let me get this stuff set up and let's see what they can do. All right, y'all, let's get some speeds. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with this 3-inch Mete first. Remember, the box is saying 1180. I definitely don't expect to see it with this. One thing I do remember about all these T-Series is they seem really consistent, so I expect a pretty small spread between these. Let's see what we got. I'm curious to see how loud these are. Too bad. 1165, 1178, 1177, 1167, and 1168. So again, pretty consistent. Not quite at 1180, but that's really not bad at all for a 3-inch barrel. Let's check that average. All right, so our 5-round average through this 3-inch barrel was 1171, so only 9 off as far as the average of what they're claiming on the box. So that's actually good out of a 3-inch barrel, because I can guarantee you that wasn't the test barrel. Again, the extreme spread on this was only like 13 or 15, so this thing keeps on going with the consistency. Let me get this reset though, and let's see what that G17 does. Let's send 5 of them through this 4.5-inch barrel. After seeing that on the 3-inch, I feel like we will hit the 1180 on this now for sure. Got 1244, 1252, 1230, 1235, and 1245. So they definitely hit that 1180 and then some. Let's check that average. All right, now we're talking. Our 5-round average from this 4.5-inch G17 was 1,241 feet per second. So that's exactly what you want to see out of plus P 124. And if y'all remember out that 3-inch Canik, it was 1171. So you're talking about 70 feet per second difference between them. 70 feet per second, that's what? little, what, 6-7%, something like that. So I don't know if you call that significant or not. Looking at these numbers, here's the problem with this T-Series. Almost every time it sits here and teases you, those velocities look incredibly nice for a plus P124 out of both of these barrel lengths. But again, it's done this before, and that projectile has just absolutely failed. So with these speeds, if we don't see good performance in the gel from this, then that just tells you right there that that projectile design is just absolutely terrible these days. But let me get this stuff reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's put up or shut up jelly time. I'm gonna put one round from each down there into the gel. I'm gonna flip the order and go with this G17 first, just because this point of impact is a little sus on this thing sometimes. So I know that MC9 goes right exactly where I send it, so I can kind of compensate if this gets a little out of shape. Well, let's see what we get here, y'all. As long as I can keep my left right good, we should be all right. All right, that should have been good. I think I see the entrance. Let me go down there and check it out. All right, y'all, that Glock definitely didn't like me talking smack about it. That thing went exactly where I had it pointed. So perfect placement there. Unfortunately, y'all can probably already see this is another fail. This is another T-Series fail. Very disappointing. That one failed, so I definitely don't expect good things out of this 3-inch, but let's go ahead and send one, and then we'll talk about it. I mean, exactly where I had that thing aimed, y'all. Exactly. I hope it didn't curve out the side, though. Let me go make sure we're good. All right, y'all, that one actually did come out the side way down here in the second block, but it had already failed miserably by then. I thought I heard something hit the bank down there is why I even said that, but what we got down here is total failure, absolute failure. Let's talk about it real quick here. So it's hard to see, but I'll show you from above. This one here, this one was the one out of the G17. Now, it comes in and looks like it's doing something here. If you were to just see this disruption and wound channel, you would think that you got something that expanded nicely and caused a lot of nice disruption, carried on through this first block and went into the second block. Looks like about 1.5 inches, and this thing is sitting down here backwards with absolutely no expansion at all. So that's probably where you got that disruption. It just happened to be kind of spiral looking, but I'm sure it tumbled at least once in there. Well, I know for a fact because it's sitting backwards. So and this is another case, yet another case. We just had it on the 45 T-Series before this that I did. Another case where I'm gonna have to sound weird saying this stuff performed well one time in the gel, but overall it's a failure, and I'm sure y'all see why here, and you already know why. But up underneath it here, that's the one out of the MC9. Now it comes in even smaller disruption, no kind of really much disruption at all, nothing more than like a solid little bit, carries on through this first block. You can tell there was no expansion at all, zips into the second block, keeps on trucking, and it's probably about 3 inches from the end of this second block. I'll show y'all here in a second. It popped out the side, so there's no doubt it would have kept on trucking and went out both of these blocks. So there was no tumbling and no expansion, and I'm actually glad that this one didn't tumble, because that just gives a perfect example of what I'm saying as far as the inconsistency. Even though this right here looks nice, I mean, you would think, yeah, that'll do the job, I don't care if it expands. But when it don't expand and it don't tumble, this is what you get. You get a straight line that clears 32 inches of ballistic gel. So as far as your penetration, this one from the G17 stopped at exactly 17 3/4. So like I said, if you were just isolating this one particular performance in this one round here, you would think, I mean, that's great performance, that's great penetration. The disruption here seems like plenty, but again, like I've already said, you can see down below on this bottom one, it actually traveled into that second block, like I said, and went out of the block at 29 inches. So, and you can tell it wasn't quite done. It definitely had a few more inches in it, so it would have cleared both of these blocks. Here's an angle that'll show you a little better just how small this disruption is. Now again, the one on the top here, that's the one out of the G17. You can see it actually, like I said, looks nice there. That had to be some tumbling at least once in there, because as you can see, there's the projectile turned backwards and absolutely no expansion on it. And then down below that, as you can see from this angle, again, that's the one out of the MC9. Little to no disruption, just just carries on through there. You can see it keeps on trucking down into this second block. We'll chase it down here at the bottom into the second block, keeps on going, and out the side right there, you can see just a few inches from the end of that block. All right, y'all, let's take a really quick look at this one little pitiful projectile here. As you can see, absolutely nothing. This cloth just absolutely shuts these T-Series down. And it's no doubt that it's the cloth because, like I said, in bare gel, everything I tested in all the calibers and all the weights did really well. And as soon as I introduced this cloth, they just went to nothing. I mean, they just got shut down. You can see there. I mean, you got one little pedal to peel out, and even that is basically nothing. I mean, that's a really shame, because you can see those talons, I mean, they just wanting to come out and do some damage, but they just cannot do it. There is just no other excuse. I mean, there's no other kind of anything you can come up with. The speeds were there. I mean, everything was there. It was a great hit inside the gel. These projectiles just are not engineered properly to overcome that cloth barrier. But let's weigh it right quick. I'm pretty sure it didn't lose anything. It started at 124 and is sitting at 124.2. So absolutely no loss at all from it. And then the measurement on it is pretty much pointless, but I'll see if I can get this biggest piece here. So taking the biggest measurement I can get off this thing, you got 417, and then all the rest of the weighs would be like 3.3. Absolutely no kind of expansion at all. As a matter of fact, a little smaller than the base. As far as the length, in case anybody's curious there, you got 606. So just absolutely pathetic performance, pathetic expansion, just an absolute fail from this thing. So there you have it, y'all. What, in my opinion, is basically the last chance for these T-Series. Definitely as far as the 9, this is it. I mean, I've tested the 147, the 127 plus P plus, and now the 124 plus P. The only one that did good through this cloth was the 147 as far as I can remember. Now, I'll have to look back and make sure it did, but I'm almost positive for whatever reason, the 147 did well, and both of these plus P plus 127 and the plus P 124, as you can see here, was just an absolute failure. So as much as I wanted these 9mm T-Series to do well, they just did not. And as far as I'm concerned, these are an absolute do not buy for me from here on out. All right, y'all, that's a wrap right there for what unfortunately is yet another Winchester Ranger T-Series failure. Like I said, I was really hoping this stuff would do well. I love seeing the expanded projectiles when these things do perform like they're supposed to. They would be a phenomenal round if they were more barrier blind. Now, like I said, I am putting these failures in the pile for carbine test and stuff, so maybe they'll perform better out of that. But honestly, I mean, it wasn't a speed problem here. You know, I guess if you pushed them so fast that they started coming all apart, but you probably still get the mangled up stuff like we saw out of the 45 ACP instead of real nice symmetrical expansion. But let me know what y'all think about the performance you saw from these out here today, and really overall, what are you thinking now about these T-Series now that you've seen so many tested and seen, frankly, so many failures from them? If you did enjoy the video, reach down and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you've got them notifications turned on so hopefully you get notified when I upload new stuff. Take a second if you would. If you're doing some shopping, hit up those affiliate links I got in the video description. Anything you buy after going through those links down there, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Once again, I appreciate all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all out there for supporting the channel like y'all do. I got tons of good stuff headed y'all's way. I'm about to flip these blocks around and try to squeeze 2 more tests in the other side. Be on the lookout for all that stuff. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.